Okay, so now here, guys. Now today we're going to do a podcast with Hilltop FC. So my name is Antony Songole. So this podcast is about my dissertation on black-owned football clubs. So everyone else, just introduce yourselves.
My name is Mahad Omar. I am the club secretary for Hilltop FC.
I'm Mohammed Hussein. I'm the club captain for Hilltop FC.
Hi, and I'm Ahmed Hussein. I'm part of the management staff for Hilltop FC.
Okay, thank you for introducing yourself. So obviously, this piece of work is very important for myself because I'm currently a football coach and looking to working into the industry, into obviously semi-pro or professional football coaching. So the first question I'll go through is, what was the reason behind creating the club?
Shop, do you want to come in first in the timeline of your Hilltop, the from the beginning basically? What turned it into from basically from going into, as you know, having a kickabout as a friendships and then going into an actual club?
I mean, it was a case of just a group of friends. We used to get together in like Stonebridge in the pavilion. So we used to get together and play little 7-a-sides, 5-a-sides. But we had a vast amount of players that used to come down, but everyone was talented, but we never really had a club to go to. People didn't really want to. A few players used to go to like different clubs and whatnot, but obviously it's when you're from the same sort of area, you sort of want to play with your friends. And then like the chairman sort of came up with an idea of starting the club, and then he started it in about 2005. So I was a lot younger back then. Now I'm the old man in the team. So I've been around. Yeah, I've been around with them for a long, long time. But
Yeah.
sort of like just to get us together and playing the football together, at least playing with your friends and trying to go as far as possible as you can, rather than going to different teams and whatnot.
Okay, hear that. Because like it's mainly like the teams within like the Somali-based area.
So if I come in terms of the it's structural coming from there. So I joined in as a player as well. So
Yeah.
they were already set up. Obviously, I previously was playing for a different team that was built in North London. So I came to join them from Northwest. And so when I joined in, obviously a couple of years down the line, we took, the management wanted me to help out in terms of the admin side and structure of rebuilding of the club and resetting everything and see if we can go higher than the levels that we were playing at the time. So I've took up on a full-time role, which was basically just making sure that we have things in place, our papers is in order. We deal with things, prepare ourselves to become more of a professional, even though we weren't a professional club, if that makes sense. So it's just building the structure, putting everything in place, having the training ground facility set up, having the club rules and procedures, everything in place so that we go from having people that just friends playing from the park to an actual club who's in steps 7. And unfortunately, if it wasn't for the last 2 years due to coronavirus, we could have been into step 6. And obviously that was our target and moving into somewhere higher, going up the levels in the football pyramid. So that's my side in terms of covering, in terms of the football, the management side of things, how I went from player to management. And we've got quite a few players, a few management who were players, original players, and now they're obviously become management, part of the management, and everybody's got a role to play. So we've got the club's quite big at the moment. It's grown in the past couple of years.
Yeah, good. So I can sense that you guys, management and players are very close, or you know each other compared to a normal, you would say, semi-pro club where you get a group of random people really and just try to gel a team sometimes. So is that what I'm sensing from like all of you guys knows each other?
Yeah, so in terms of the team, I would say probably about 80 to 85% are from the I would say Somali backgrounds, majority, but we do have obviously other ethnicity within the area of the African. So, but mainly I would say 95% of the players are black-based players, basically. So, and these are majority at the moment. Previously, they were originally just based in the Brent area, but the club, as it's grown, players did come and travel from East London, South London, West London. So it is more of a place actually now that what we have is a place that who travel from different locations. So it's not just the Brent is obviously in the heartbeat of it, but the players do from across all over the London. And but as you said, yes, 85% of the players are Somali background players.
Yeah, okay. That's good to hear.
Just to add to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just to add to that, man, I'd say it's a pretty close-knit family, man. And what I've noticed as well is over the last few years, whenever new players do join, even new management, like they quickly integrate into the club, and it seems like everyone's known each other for years, man. So, I mean, that's partly due to just the way we communicate, and even outside of playing football, we like to kind of meet up from time to time and just get to know each other better. So, yeah, so it's a close-knit family on and off the pitch.
Yeah, that's very good to hear, because obviously you guys are kind of, while you're giving opportunities for boys or men within your area to obviously to play for a football club and as well be in a safe area, because maybe sometimes obviously if you're so used to being obviously within your group of people and maybe you go to another team outside and you're being an outsider, you might not express yourself as you usually do, because you might have to be on everyone's toes and you might not express yourself as much. So obviously you guys are given a club for within your areas and opportunities really for boys to play, because even when I've done a bit of research for coaches to be more progressive, it's more only usually within London or Southwest England. So that's like your, I would say, your Oxford down there, because I think up north is a bit more difficult. So I would say past Birmingham, you can see the demographic changes a bit. Players and club as well. So obviously you guys have given an opportunity, because how many teams you have?
So at the moment we've got 3 men's teams, 1 female, and 1 youth team.
Under 16, yeah.
Under 16. So
under 15 and under 16, but they're mixed together at the moment because only one age group has been into a league. But we do have under 15 and under 16s. So 2 youth teams, 1 female, and 3 men's.
Okay, that's good to hear. Good to hear. So my next question would be on how did your club affect your community?
So at the moment we try to be the, I would say, the upfront for it. So we try to show, we try to set an example where other part of our community can follow those footsteps, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So at the moment we're involved in something called the British Somali Champions League, where clubs across the UK have every city has got, so Cardiff, Birmingham, Leicester, they've got
Cardiff.
Yeah, so they've got teams, and so it's like a season, just like the Champions League season run. Obviously, majority of the clubs will be from London as they have more teams in there. But the idea is to basically, as you said, give the players, especially the community within our community, the chance to go and play football in a more structured way, so that their ability can be seen as well, if that makes sense. So at the moment in that competition, just this past Sunday, we managed to get through to the semi-finals. So Leicester and ourselves and 2 London teams are in the last 4. So that has grown from what it was previously to where it is now. So in terms of that, say is a well-known. And also internationally, we actually do travel abroad to play football as well. To people from our background communities always have this kind of interest in football, so they do organize footballs abroad as well. So we have in the last couple of years, just before the coronavirus, we were managed to participate in Toronto tournament that is held annually every year. So I would
I've seen a
say,
bit of that.
yeah. So I would say, we've kind of, so there's a lot of teams now, especially so we participate. The men's participate in the Middlesex County Football League Premier Division, our main club team, and then we've got two teams in the midweek Islington Midweek Football League, which is based in also North London. So that league, actually, this season, I think we've had quite a few other teams who are again from our background that managed to join in the league and follow up with stuff. So I think in a way we do set an example of others. You know, if you have things in place and if you put the effort and time, that you can actually be somewhere and get somewhere.
Yeah, what I've noticed as well, I think culturally as well, I think within, I would say the Somali community, especially like general Africans, I think you guys are more tight knit, and obviously I see, compared to everyone else, I've seen you guys do more like group economics.
Yeah.
You're more like help each other and support each other compared to like other groups that might not support each other. It might be, I don't know, tribalism, all of this, you know what I mean? So it's good to hear that you guys have in general, because you're not the only club to participate in this tournament. And as well, it puts on a map for people to know, okay, because usually in generally, like black people, they just think, oh, I just need to stay in London, or there's only black people in London. When really, as you mentioned, Cardiff, because I went to 2 years in Cardiff, and it was really a different experience. Because where I worked was, because I worked for Cardiff Foundation, was this area called Grangetown.
Okay.
Grangetown is nowhere different to Northwest London or Shepherd's Bush, really, or in Birmingham. Literally, it's exact same. So literally, like, it was a culture shock to me because I've only been to Wales once because my uncle lived there. But it was just like, when I was telling my friends, "Oh yeah, I'm going to Wales," they look at me like,
Yeah.
they look at because they know our area is quite multicultural, it's a bit like London. So they're kind of like, "Why are you going there for?"
Yeah.
But it's just obviously just to explore and as well shines a light to everyone, like these type of areas, like everyone's obviously exploring and just like on really how you guys run the tournament. And it's good to hear that obviously you guys got a tournament locally and as well internationally.
Yeah.
So my next question would be, I'd ask each of you, what is your day-to-day responsibilities?
Me being the old guy in the team was just to be that sort of like older brother. So a lot of the kids, they lean onto me for advice, and I'm always there for them for advice. I talk to them about life. It's not just football at the end of the day. I'm like, a lot of the guys in the team, I've got like 10, 15 years on them. So I can also give them with life experiences, work experiences, just all aspects of things, not just so much football. But I am really there for them. As my role now in the team is to just be that, the guy to sort of put them in a straight and narrow rather than like just leave them alone to figure out themselves. I'm just there to guide them and sort of help them and push them. If I could steer them into the right direction, then I felt like I've done my due diligence as the old guy in the team, rather than just, just playing football with them and going home. I'm not really there for that. It's like you said, it's a close-knit family that we've got here. So if I can help them strive in the right direction, then I feel like I've done a big part as the old guy in the team.
Okay, cool.
With me, sometimes the football takes actually a whole day out of me, if that makes sense, in terms, because just like for example, just to give you an idea of I think it was Tuesday that we've had a game, and it was the day of Ramadan while we were fasting as well. So we've had a game kicking off at 6 p.m. and then we had a game kicking off at 8 p.m. on that day. So I work in NHS, so for example, I finished work. Sometimes when the football's on that early, I kind of have to arrange the time for it. So I hour forward. So I finished at 4. I've had my stuff so on that day I was the kitman, cameraman, first aider, team secretary, everything basically on that day until I got to the pitch where the rest of the management could meet me up. So I had basically all the equipment, and so when I get there, then we get the rest of the management who all arrive obviously from their different jobs into the game, and then we kind of spread ourselves to see who needs to deal with, for example, the team sheet, who needs to deal with collection of fees for the referees, who needs to deal with, setting up the kit, the players, details. And then, so we try to help each other out as much as we can so that everybody's got, their bit to contribute to the team in terms of getting the results done on the day, so that, the manager on the day can then concentrate on just purely, his tactics and, his game plan of what he wants to do and how he wants to execute it. So yeah, I'll let Gab and Abdullahi as well comment on what they. But yeah, so in terms of me, that's my start of the day. Once the day is finished, so again, I'm the one who's responsible for the equipment and the kit. So I make sure that I take everything back. Within the following day, everything's prepared ready to go for the next game day. So I'll let Abdul and Gab come in and just kind of give you an experience of their day-to-day as well, running up.
The way I look at it is, day to day, I feel like my job is everything I can possible to make the gaffer's life easier. Whether that be the link between him and the players, or me just helping him run things behind the scene, whether it be with the lineup or just the day-to-day logistics of the day. So yeah, that's my way of looking at things anyway. I'm a senior member of the management staff, so everything to help his job easier.
Okay, all good.
Abdullah, you want to come in?
Yeah, sorry guys, and evening to all of you lot.
Evening.
Apology, I'm the one with no technology experience.
Oh, it gets like that sometimes.
So I'm always the last one to join in. Yeah, I hope these guys looked after you. I hope they answered majority of your questions, and
yeah, they've been all good.
Yeah, so I don't know what I missed, but I gathered most of your questions have been answered, hopefully.
Yeah.
So you can. So your the question is being put out, Abdullah, on in terms of day-to-day tasks for everyone. So if you can give him for example, so since you're the main club manager for the team, he just wants to know what your day-to-day life is like in terms of that.
To be honest with you, I do about 20 to 15 in terms of thousand of steps. So that just tells you what sort of day I'm having. You know what I mean? So and it's pretty busy from the beginning. To be honest with you, and sometimes arranging things and make sure everyone knows what they're doing and where they're supposed to be at. And so the job itself is not just, it doesn't like aim at one thing. You're in charge of everybody and make sure everybody knows what they're doing, and all the people that's working with you. And so sometimes I get back at 7 o'clock in the evening when it's only 2 hours things from the morning, organizing things all the way to the afternoon to make sure everyone gets back home safe and everything. So it's just really a long day, but you can imagine being on my shoes for one day is just going to be very difficult for everyone.
Yeah. Dude, obviously doing that role is never an easy job, and obviously not everyone can do it. So it takes a special kind of person to do that, really, because obviously you got a lot of responsibilities. But it's good that you get help from these guys. So not obviously you're not doing every single role, but these guys are responsible enough to obviously do their task, and obviously that can help you out. So we just got 2 more questions, really. So the next question is, how are you viewed in the community?
Personally, from what I hear, since obviously because I say that because I'm from North London and these guys are from Northwest, people in the North kind of have nothing really, because the idea of for them, they understand that it is more of a it's only going to bring more of a unity, if that makes sense. So if someone from North is involved with the Northwest London guys, and if they're working together, it just shows that they're trying to they've become a unity, if that makes sense, and they're trying to get somewhere in life with this club, who again obviously mainly have been built or was born within the community. So I would say from the north side of it, they're very supportive of that, and obviously, as I said again, there's a players from North London that play for the club as well. So in that way, they are more than likely to be wanting the club to get somewhere as far as possible, and obviously be willing to support. So that's the expression and the feeling that I get for within the North London lot.
Okay, that's good.
Let me just add something to that.
Yeah, go.
Yeah, go ahead, Shab. You can go before me.
Yeah, Shab, go on.
So I was gonna say, from like other teams and other people that I talk to, and other like people in and around my age group and a little bit younger, I would like to think that it's held in quite high regards, because everyone always says to us, I watch you lot on YouTube and I'm a big fan of you lot style of play. I really want to join you lot. Like the social media accounts, we get many people messaging us saying, how can I come training? When is the next training session? I really want to come to join. So I'd like to think that people think of us as quite big in the community and a well-respected organisation. Hence why a lot of people want to come and play and want to take part and participate like with us and join us. So I think it's in good regards, but obviously I don't want to toot our own horn and say, yeah, we're doing this and we're doing that. I like to be humble in life. So just to answer your question, I like to think it's in good regards.
Yeah, because obviously I see that you guys put your stuff on YouTube, and as well a lot of these days are now like putting the videos on YouTube, but as well they put a bit of structure, so they just don't put a simple video out because you're quite being same as everyone else. So obviously you probably watch guys like the Beatties, SE Dons, Lambeth, couple of teams in South or East. They basically kind of like twist it, put something different into the videos, and obviously it just gives you exposure really, because obviously probably 15 or 20 years ago, barely any grassroots club would have recorded their games really. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no way.
Most definitely, man. And
at
first we were a bit skeptical of doing that at first, because even all the teams you mentioned, they're all Sunday League teams, so there's really there's a ceiling to how high they can go, and we feared that if we continue to grow as a Saturday team going into semi-pro football, it may be a bit detrimental at first. But again, as you said, the exposure is the most important thing, so we just wanted to make sure that we do it, but then do it the right way.
Yeah.
But also, the other thing I was going to say is that just going back to that in terms of how we viewed is that traditionally people from our community clubs, the idea used to be that there's teams in everywhere, and then at the end of the year when the football league finishes, someone would just put together all the best players from every team and then go on to enter a team. So I would say we are, if not one of the first teams within our community to say, the club has a rules and a structure in place. So if you are, every player has this an FA actually designed code of conduct. So it says they have to follow those steps, and which means that if you're required to come and play somewhere for the club, then you would be following those rules. And it means that nobody can just come and kind of hijack your own talent, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get you.
So that just to be safe for us to have our own secure of not being able to have that. So a lot of teams now started to do that. What they did is that they've gone into football leagues and signed up to their players and say, you know what, you stay with us throughout the whole season, so that everybody has some sort of rules to follow. So I would say we kind of advance. That has been there, but it's never used to be enforced, if that makes sense. So I would say that's something that we've done, and the feedback that I get from the community people is always saying, okay, do you know what, it seems that you guys are actually role model, your players are well behaved, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So that I would say that's the kind of feeling again I get.
Okay, that's good. Anyone else want to say anything?
Abdullah, you want to add anything? I don't think this guy's good with his technology, as he said. So we can come back to him if you want. We can.
Yeah, we'll come back to him. So we go to our final question. So I want this answered by everyone really. So obviously, to some people within, I would say the community might not be taboo, or they don't want to be more self-efficient. But my last question would be, what's your views on black-owned football clubs? So clubs like yourself, there's another club like Levels, like any grassroots or semi-pro club.
Would you mean like if you want to expand that a little bit, or maybe
So basically,
have misunderstood?
so
Maybe
basically,
understood better than me.
so basically, there's been like increase of more black-owned football clubs.
Okay.
Because like as you just said earlier, sometimes players didn't have clubs within your area, so now you've given them an opportunity to play for a club, and as well you've given opportunity for black managers or Asian coaches to obviously have an opportunity to coach.
Yeah.
I feel there should be more of it. I think in our league, just if you're looking at our league, the league that we play in, it's only us and I think Indian Gymkhana. That's the only like fully ethnic team. Whereas other teams is predominantly like obviously your normal like white-owned sort of teams. Whereas and London Samurai as well. I think there's about 3 teams. But just for regards to the black community, I feel there should be more. As you know already in itself, black managers and black people don't really get the best of opportunities. We don't really get the fair, the fair roll of the dice in some aspects of especially higher up. But if we can sort of start lower up and then work our way in, and it starts to show that we can actually have well-established organizations, then it will show, it will inspire other people to do it, and it could all branch out right through from London all the way up to up north. Whereas right now it's only, let's just say in the whole of London, there may be like a small handful of teams where other people don't really take that. They don't want to take that risk. So I feel like we need to be more so that other people can start taking us seriously and other people can look at it and say, oh, this is a well-run organization, rather than it just saying, oh, you know what, it's not going to work. We already fit the stereotype. We're going to say, oh, it may not work, or it may not come together. Whereas if we have more and more people doing it and it's showing that we can, hey, look, these guys can actually do something with it, then it will be a lot better for us, and it will maybe inspire other people to have a lot more black organized football clubs rather than just having the very few.
Okay, good. That's nice to hear.
Yeah, I think Sharp hit the nail on the head there, man. And just to add to it, in terms of players, I feel like, I mean, the proof is in the pudding. You got players playing in the Premier League, but in terms of managers, will never really get the chance to play at a higher level if we're not setting up the opportunity for them to get that chance at lower league and grassroots football first. So, and that's why I think we've only had one black manager in the Premier League, Chris Hughton, if I'm not mistaken. I can't really think of anyone else that's had a solid job there.
Yeah,
and even when you look at grassroots football, you don't really see much black-owned teams. And I remember a couple of years ago, we played a team, Peckham Town, in a cup. I think it was a cup quarter-final a few years ago. And just the look in their face and how happy they were talking to us to see another black-owned football club playing at the same level as them was just, to me, it was a surprise, because I thought there was a lot more out there. And then they were telling me they hardly see any. And they were just filled with joy, man.
Yeah, because obviously Peckham's from the south, and I'm from southwest, so it does surprise me when I don't see enough clubs, because there's plenty of players to get from. Look, you know what I mean? Because to be honest, obviously everyone's got connections, so you don't even need to even create your own club. There's just plenty. I know there should be a few clubs within South London, Southwest London, because it's very obviously a diverse area, so there should be. But I think sometimes maybe as you said, maybe some people don't take as much as a risk.
Yeah.
Because obviously in life you got to take a risk. You can't just play safety all the time.
But also, I would say it also takes dedication and time and effort as well. So as you said, you get the knockdowns there and whereabouts were. So it's how you bounce back and what you want to achieve. And if you obviously, although it's a grassroots level, that you have to have some sort of a goal or an aim somewhere where you want to be in certain time of a period. So although I'm sure a majority of the the player, for example, Sharp, and he might not be aware of it, but we actually had an offer where a club who is in I think step 5 or step 6, I'm not sure, have come over to us and said, if you can come up with your own structure, so they have a club, but they said come up with your own structure, so you can come up with your players, with your management style, and you just come and work for us. Then we will there and there give you the ground, everything basically. So, and we actually rejected that without second thought because we thought we want to be there ourselves rather than someone working to be there for them, if that makes sense. So I would say, you kind of get, obviously, it would have made our life a little bit easier in terms of, having to not worry about certain things that are not in place for us, but we believe our own abilities that we would, in terms whether it's on the pitch or off the pitch, that we would get there, if that makes sense. So it's just having that belief and sticking to that, your principles and your goals to get there. So I think, as Gab said, we can only be, try to hope to be an example to everywhere else, so that when we do go on into, as you said, for example, our hope, again, if it wasn't for the coronavirus, was to be involved in the FA Cup, FA Vars. So that would have allowed us again, to travel to a different area and just to present ourselves, the type of, the team that we have and the management that we have coming over there. Then that is something that is achievable, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's obviously good what you guys are doing for the community, and obviously providing a platform for managers and players as such as well. Because I've just done some research on other communities, for example, within the Jewish community within London, they will have their own schools, hospitals, nurseries, everything, and it's run by them. And you can see with those guys, they do group economics, so they know how obviously the economy works, and they know how to support each other. So obviously you'd help clubs like yourself, and obviously other clubs within your area or in general supporting yourself, because obviously you guys are participating in that. What is the Somali Champions League?
Somali British Champions League,
Yeah, so obviously you guys as a community of branch across the UK to obviously to build a tournament and obviously platform. Because do you record any of your games?
Yeah. Majority of our games are recorded.
I think all of our games are recorded.
So it's good that obviously you can see, and obviously for future reference, you can probably go back, oh yeah, I've played in that match and this, and as well you can inspire the next generation. Obviously, when you guys current players, when you finish, or you continue within the club, really. So yeah, it's just good information, and obviously talking to you guys about your club, because personally I think there should be more within England in general, because obviously a lot of us are, I would say, parents-wise, have been here for a good number of years.
Yeah.
I know, some communities have been here since the 50s or 60s. I know my parents have been here since the 80s. So it just really, obviously, the next stage, because for my personal view, there's no point keep complaining, but you do nothing.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? It's like you keep getting robbed, but you don't put no cameras in your house. You know what I mean? It's like
Just moaning all the time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You're not really helping yourself. So I think more people within our community just needs to obviously come together, think some ideas as what you guys done as create a club and a platform, really.
I think for me, just to think about it, I always look at it either you lose, you win or you learn. So even for any reason, if we do not get into to the level or where we want to be within ourselves, it's just making sure that at least it is in a structural place, so that as you said, the next wave of players that come through. Because when I look back when I was playing, and the players that we have now at that club, we keep on reminding them that what we went through, if that makes sense, and that if we didn't have things that they have in place, so that now they don't have to worry about the kit, they don't have to worry about the organization of the game, the location, all these things have been, put out for them. So all they have to do now is just to put their skill on the football pitch. So if I have a I have a good faith and believe that if I'm at the moment, if I have done this, I believe the next players generations that will come after me, hopefully, would be able to offer even much more better support, so that these other youngsters that are coming through have that step to get through and somewhere to be, as Sharp said earlier.
Okay, that's good. So, guys, I appreciate you guys participating in this podcast. Obviously, it's good information from you guys from London to come down all the way. Obviously, myself from the Midlands, because I think we need a bit more. There's a few clubs, but they don't put it themselves as. So you guys have social media,
Yeah.
but it's I appreciate you guys participating in this podcast, and obviously help for the current generation of people within our community to build your own club and become more self-efficient. So let me finish.